So a lot of people wanted to know what our actual faces looked like in real life. So here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Ha!
Intro.
So yeah, what's up? This is the first kind of podcast thing that we decided we wanted to do. Quick thing, like very quickly, because Oscar or Ghost will probably take 5 minutes to explain it. Robin's a retard, and he's realised that he's never available for us, so he's not going to be in every podcast that we do. So that's pretty much the down low of
Agreed.
it. So I'm going to hand it over to Oscar, who's going to sort stuff out.
Yeah, so pretty much that's that. I mean, Callum just explained it right there. We're doing a podcast now, but we originally had Robin intended to be there. He's not going to be there anymore. So we're just going to quickly go explain through what we're going to be doing every single week now, pretty much. It's going to be a podcast that we're going to do weekly. It's going to upload on Sundays, most likely about 4 p.m. UK time. Hopefully, that's when we're aiming it for. But yeah, that's pretty much. I'm just reading it off the screen now. I'm not looking at the camera, but I'm just reading it off the screen because I've got a little note here. It's going to be about 30 or 40 minutes long. We've got about 5 minutes where we talk about what we've been playing in the past week or so, and then 10 to 20 minutes of just news that is all gaming related, pretty much. Then we've got about 5 to 10 minutes of like a viewer topic. Now, obviously, that's something that you guys are going to send in who are watching the podcast, which is pretty cool because obviously we want to actually get more feedback and hear what you guys think about it. Obviously, this is the first time we're doing it. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, especially on the first episode. It's going to take a bit of time to get into kind of groove of doing it, but hopefully it won't take too long. We're pretty experienced, I'd say, in the YouTube kind of idea, so hopefully we're not going to be too long in terms of getting this right. And then finally, we're going to have like a little Q&A probably at the end. Anything that people have put in the comments section of the last podcast, I'm going to try and answer that in the last 5 minutes. So about half an hour to 40 minutes, as I said before. We're going to pretty much get on with it straight away. So yeah, I'm going to ask the question to you guys. What have you been playing this past week?
Oh, I've been playing loads. I've been playing, actually, like, the thing is, I found with this summer so far, apart from Arkham Knight, which I played towards the beginning of the summer, I've just been playing, like, loads more smaller games. Like, I haven't been playing massive games, I've just been playing, like, a selection of smaller games. So this past week, yesterday, I finished Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which is a weird game. It's a unique game. I think we can all agree on that. It definitely has its things that it does really well, and then it's things that it doesn't do quite so well. I do think it's worth the money you pay for it. I think that the way they execute the second half of the game is better than they execute the first half of the game, although that may well have been because of, you know, the way I was playing it. You know, like, I didn't really get the first half of the game, but then once I sort of accepted what the game was like, then I got used to it. So I'd say the second half of the game I much preferred it, and as a result I really enjoyed the ending. I think the way they executed it, as I just said, it was really good. So I completed that yesterday. Otherwise, I've been playing a lot of N++ recently, which is the other game that recently came out. I bought that, and that is actually another game I'm really, really enjoying. It's one of those games, like, it's sort of, I guess, another game that you can add to the notable PSN downloads collection, you know, along with Resogun. I guess you could also put Towerfall Ascension in there. I think N++ goes along with them sorts of games. Where someone's shouting outside my room. Do you hear that? That never happens, and it has to happen in this one podcast. Literally, not once, not once a day has that happened, and I'm going to shout at them after this. Anyway, so yeah, I'm playing N++, and that's a really nice game just to go back through, and, you know, once every few days, or I guess I've been playing it daily actually. I've just been playing it for 10-15 minutes here and there, and yeah, it's a really fun game. Apart from that, I've been continuing. That nice voice crack. I've been continuing.
Fantastic.
This is just going
crack.
so well. I'm continuing with Bastion right now. I haven't quite finished it yet because a lot of people suggest that I should play it because I enjoy Transistor so much, because Transistor is the best game ever made. And Bastion,
go with that.
So far, Bastion, I'm like a bit on the fence. I'm not enjoying it nowhere near as much as with Transistor, although I haven't completed it, so I can't really say that as of yet. But yeah, as I just said, loads of smaller games. There's actually loads more games I've been playing, but before I ramble on too much, do one of you want to go ahead and what you've been playing? I fear that you'll say either Destiny or GTA 5 or both, but let's just see what you say. Go on.
Callum can go ahead first. I'll be last.
I have been playing Destiny and I have been playing GTA.
Oh, I'm so
I finally got my Galahorn.
Courtesy of
Shut
Sir,
up.
from what I've heard.
Shut up, fool.
Just
Just because you've had like
I've
6.
got about 9 now if I bought all the ones.
Exactly. Because anyway, so I've been playing that.
My first reaction to seeing Galahorn like going like, well, you could buy it or something in Destiny. Does that not like half ruin the game? Because I thought the point of it was that you grinded and that when you got it, you
should have seen the forums.
To be fair, people have been grinding for about 40 weeks now. It's only ever been available to buy. That was the second time it's only ever been available to buy. So people have been pretty pissed off. Because
I don't really follow like Destiny as in that much, but I heard that you could buy the Galahorn like, partly because of the video you uploaded, and my first reaction was like, I think I was thinking like, aren't people going to be unhappy about that because it's like the whole point of the game? But you know, whatever.
No, people who already have
no, because everyone's already got one apart from Callum, so it's not really a problem.
Right.
Oh, shut it! Simon didn't have one either. But anyway, moving on.
Destiny banter.
I have been playing. What?
Destiny banter. Love a bit of Destiny banter.
Oh yes, indeed. I've been playing Destiny. I've been playing GTA. I've played some Black Ops 3 beta. It's not too bad. Like, it basically just kind of seems like a reskin of Advanced Warfare, I guess. Like the way that I don't know what I'm talking about. Seriously, this is so shit. Oscar.
I can hear someone like absolutely abusing someone in the background.
Yeah, I know.
I'm pretty sure they're saying Callum. But I could be wrong.
They're not.
I could be wrong. All I heard was Callum!
It wasn't me.
It's not me. I promise you, it's not me. Go on, Oscar.
Anyway, I'm about to say I'll continue with what I was.
This podcast falls completely apart. Oh my god.
It's already failed.
Yeah. So what I've been playing this week is pretty much everybody's gone to the Rapture again. Again, I've got a bit of a story to tell about that game because I mean these guys have already heard it, but I'll pretty much explain it to you guys. For some weird reason, the autosave for my game is completely fucked up. Like it just does not work. In the first. If you've actually played Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, you'll understand it. But you pretty much have like 6 characters, I think, and I've got to the 5th character, so the penultimate character, and
Stephen.
Yeah, Stephen. And for whatever weird reason, from the first character up until that point, it has not saved my game.
Are you absolutely sure about that? Like,
100%. I went back on it last night after I came back from going out, and again, I'm back at the first fucking character. It takes the piss.
That's weird. Really
so the
weird.
autosave just doesn't work on my
Got
game. So instead I've actually resorted to...
have to leave. You can sense it now. You can just sense it now, please. Callum, what?
What?
What have you said?
I said gutted.
You said
Like
gutted.
for Oscar.
Shit, I thought you said guys, and then like you know how you always say guys, and then you were like you just like I have to leave, like you always say it.
You always just say it.
I was just dreading the
Ouch.
worst. Dreading the worst.
But yeah, pretty much.
You still have to hurry it up.
Yeah. But pretty much, yeah, we've I've had that problem for the whole game, which is really unfortunate. So I pretty much read an article on what happened in the rest of the game because I just really could not be bothered to walk through Shropshire for another 2 hours. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Pretty much what I've been playing. Again, the Black Ops 3 beta, whatever you want to say. I really enjoy it actually. I think it's really, really good. In terms of actual Black Ops, I've never actually played a Black Ops game before, so I don't know how it compares to the other ones. But from what I've played, it's kind of very similar to Advanced Warfare, which is the only COD game I've actually ever owned. But in terms
of only ever owned Advanced Warfare.
Only ever owned, yeah. I've never owned another COD game.
You never owned World at War, like probably.
No, I was not old enough.
Like, that's the thing. Like no, but like I'm like the last person you'd say is like a fan of CODs, but even I owned World at War as like just like a standard, which you know it's like I still own that, but I haven't bought one since. But
yeah. Well, no,
anyway,
I just haven't
introduced the zombies M9.
Yeah, I know. So Black Ops 3 is a good one I've been playing. That's going to end soon, though. I recently realised that it ends on August 23rd, which is really, really short. I thought it was much longer than that. And other than that, really, I've not been playing that much more. I did go on Destiny for like a little bit, but that's like the first time in quite a long time. And other than that, yeah, Black Ops and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is what we've been playing. And a little bit of Rocket League as well, because for the fuel pack that... it's a lot of fun.
Course,
yeah. So yeah.
Did you guys see that?
It's Rocket League.
Did you guys see that MLG final for Rocket League? No. Oh,
no.
Okay.
I've heard something about it though. Apparently it was mental.
It was absolutely mental. Basically, it was the final of this MLG tournament, and I don't think it was like as big as other MLG tournaments. Not that I actually know, but like. I don't think there was like a particularly big prize or anything, more just like the sort of the glory of winning it. But yeah, these two, like, these were meant to be like two of the best MLG teams going against each other. There was a clear favourite apparently. It was best of 3 games. They each won a game each, and then the last game, the team that wasn't favourites went 3-0 up. Then the team that were favourites came back to 3-3. Then the clock went down to 0, and you know how it goes down to 0? The ball has to touch the ground before it ends.
Oh yeah.
It goes down to 0.
Yeah.
The other team, like the non-favourites, they just go down the other end, juggle the ball up in the air loads, and score. And it's absolutely mental. And the commentators, because they're all American, they're just like, "Oh yeah, come on, yeah, come on."
They're just losing
like,
it. They're just constantly losing those.
Yeah,
shit.
well, they will do
Oh,
that.
what a finish! What a finish! But yeah, so that was something because
No, it sounds pretty interesting. I might have to watch that at some point.
that was pretty good. But yeah.
But yeah, pretty much we're going to move on to the news now, which is our next kind of area of the podcast that we're trying to do here. So
Yeah.
pretty much let's just go over the news quickly. I mean, Ghost has got a couple of things that he wanted to kind of mention.
Well, yeah, I mean, on the day of recording, this is like before it comes out, but I actually have an episode of GSpy TV uploading today. And we were looking at different news topics, and there weren't a lot of things happening today, so I thought I'd just go through the ones I'm going to go through in my own video, because I picked them, they're quite interesting. So, first up, what I was going to talk about is the Black Ops 3 beta, which we were just half discussing, but what I was going to talk about, myself, is, do you reckon that it's going to be, like, genuinely a better game than the other CODs? Because the sort of cycle that we see every year with Black Ops 3, well, this year with Black Ops 3, but with COD every year, I guess, it's the people getting hyped first through the trailers and through the betas and that sort of stuff.
People are getting hyped because it's another Black Ops game more than anything.
Okay, because that's what I'm thinking. Like,
that's pretty much the only reason.
Is it because it's another Black Ops game, or is it because it's another COD game? Because a lot of people get excited every year because it's COD. Then when they play it, there's usually a mixed reaction. Some people love it, some people hate it. Then when it gets around to Christmas,
no, it's
people
because
start
it's
to
Black
hate
Ops.
it more. Then when there's hints of a new COD, people get excited again, and then the cycle sort of goes around again. That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's what I'm, I guess, asking you. Do you reckon it is because this game's genuinely good, or because as you say, it's a new Black Ops, or just because it's a new COD? Because I see this pattern every year, and to be honest, it gets on my nerves a little bit because I'm not a big fan of the series, and I don't see why it's still popular. And personally, I would not be at all concerned if the series ended. I just wouldn't care. Because although I don't have anything against the series as such, because they're not bad games, I just don't see why they're like, constantly praised, because they are all the same. But that's just my personal opinion, so that's what I wanted to ask you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
that's like me looking at FIFA, because FIFA is basically the same. Okay, all right.
No, but that's
then
the thing.
look at it this way then. So hang on, look at it this way then. So people buy FIFA every year, and it's in exactly the same thing.
And I agree
it's just
with you.
people have moved to different teams. So why do people continue to buy FIFA and COD? I think it's all shit. COD Black Ops 3 is. The reason they're excited is because it's Black Ops 3, and it's because Black Ops 2 was one of the best ones that they did.
Then again, if you compare it to like Modern Warfare 3,
that is the only reason they're excited.
Because Modern Warfare 3 was not better than Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 1.
No, it
so
wasn't.
In fact, people said it was the worst out of the
Exactly.
series, Modern Warfare 3, so yeah.
Yeah, it was.
There's a reason to get excited about
I
it.
don't know, it's
I guess.
just...
like, because the base is apparently actually good, so it's giving people confidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
with
true.
your FIFA point,
But-
I mean, I don't get FIFA every year, or at least I try not to, because I know it's it's EA and it's the same every year and that sort of stuff. But it is just the exact same point. Like, your point is valid. It is just the same every year, and it is like the same with almost every single annualized games. It's the same with Assassin's Creed. So, but yeah, I guess
Let's not start about Assassin's Creed. I'll get angry.
Right.
We know that too well.
Now that we've had our take on that,
yeah.
the other actual
Always do.
bit of news that's come out, like the actual bit of news that's come out, is the fact that Phil Spencer seems quite open to the fact that Xbox and the Xbox One may be able in the future to run original Xbox titles through backwards compatibility on it. And right now they're still only working on the Xbox 360 titles, and they're working on that to try and get all the Xbox 360 titles, to work on backwards compatibility. But what someone asked him is whether or not the original Xbox titles will be able to be played on the Xbox One at some point, and he basically said that he was open to the idea. He said that they're going to focus on the 360 titles for now, but it's definitely a possibility in the future. What do you guys think of that?
I think it's a good idea for them to try and do it.
If they do manage to pull it off, it's a very, very good thing. Like, I mean, imagine that. It's essentially saying that the PlayStation 4 could play the PS2 and the PS1 games as a disc rather than an actual... Like, that's the thing, right? PlayStation now doesn't even offer the PS1 or PS2 games yet, which is, I think, is a completely stupid thing. Because, let's be honest, everyone's probably thinking, well, the PS2 games are like 10 years ago now. I mean, if you've not played those,
they're the games that people really want to play.
Exactly, and unfortunately,
that's why you'd rather have that, and that's why Xbox are approaching it this way. Saying that they're open to the opportunity, saying that they're open to that possibility is great. You what?
I think it's good. I think it's a good thing that they're trying to get the original Xbox titles on there. But apart from anything else, I think, as you said, more people will want to play the older games on it, and I think that's the reason why they should do it. Whether or not they can, in theory, is another question. But it seems to be more of a software thing than a hardware thing, because they're really not closing off all the possibilities for that. Which makes me think: is it possible on the PS4? And if so, should Sony try to do the same thing? Because I know a lot of people would want to have that ability. I mean, if you gave the people the opportunity to play some PS2 games on there, or even some PS1 classics, I know it would be quite a good thing for Oscar if he wanted to play some Crash Bandicoot
he would
games
just
on
play
there.
flipping Crash Bandicoot 24/7.
Exactly.
You'd never see him.
You
Might play Jack 2,
and if you
probably.
put your disc in your PS4 and play
come
those
on.
games, I mean, not necessarily with any improvements in terms of the performance, but just sort of the idea of it, I think that would attract quite a few people. But it seems to be that Xbox and Microsoft are ahead of the game on that one, and whether or not Sony reacts is another question. But yeah, that's pretty much the second bit of news. Do you reckon? Well, there is one, I guess, half bit of news. The first MGS5 review has come out. It's come out by a French magazine.
I will in a minute.
Maybe no. And
Do you want to leave in 5?
they gave it 17 out of 20. Although apparently this particular reviewer also said that Watch Dogs was incredible, so it's a bit unreliable.
Okay, well.
So like I guess if you have any thoughts
Watch
on
Dogs
that, I mean,
sucked.
what do you expect from MGS5? Well, you'd be guessing actually. That's a good question because me personally, I'm not. But yeah, how are you?
I don't think Callum will. I assume.
I doubt
play
it.
any of the games.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. But I mean, it looks interesting, but I don't think I will get it for the pure fact. Again, I haven't played all of the games. I've played part of Snake Eater, and that's literally it in terms of MGS. So, and Ground Zeroes as well. But again, that's kind of not really a part. Well, it's, I don't know. Anyway, but
it is, but it
isn't.
isn't.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I probably will get it down the road. I think when it's going to be reduced in price, which I inevitably will be at some point, I might end up buying it for the pure fact that it is a very, very good looking game. I mean, 1080p, 60 frames per second. The story should be very, very good. Although,
will you be able to understand the story?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I doubt it.
That's personally why I'm not getting it, because I understand the story is very complicated, and as someone new to the series, I don't want to join the series now because I'll just be completely lost. I'll have no idea what I'm doing, and that's like the main reason why I'm not getting it. Because as you said, otherwise the game looks incredible, and a lot of people are going to have that as their game of the year, regardless of how good it actually is. So the fact that the story is the main thing that's putting me off, and I think if I do end up getting it, it will be because I've read through the story on Wikipedia or something like that. I've had to read through.
That's what I did for Batman actually. When I went to go get Batman Arkham Knight, instead of actually just going back and playing Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, even though I do at some point want to play those games, in terms of the story and understanding what the hell was going on, I just read the articles that were explaining what happened in Arkham
Probably
Asylum
the best
and
way
Arkham
to
City.
do it.
And let's be honest, everyone kind of knew. I'm going to spoil it. The Joker died in Arkham City, so to be fair, it wasn't that much of a surprise because you knew what kind of happened at the end of that anyway, and they pretty much spoiled it right at the beginning of Arkham Knight anyway.
It's not spoiler exactly, is
they
it?
pretty much do.
He's
He's going into an incinerator. He's being burned alive at the beginning of the game. So let's be honest. I mean,
so banter.
Yeah.
YOLO.
But that's pretty much what I would do if you will seriously looking to get MGS5 for the first MGS game you've ever played. But in all honesty, I think that you'd probably want to miss this if you haven't played the other games. So again, probably all of us are not going to get it. Robin's pretty hyped for it. We know that as well because he's obviously gone through and played all the games recently.
And I think anybody who's played the other games will
be very hyped.
Super hyped
It's
for
a
this,
definitely good-looking game. There's no denying it's a good-looking game. But if you want to understand what the hell's going on, then you probably should have played the other 4 games. So yeah, that's that. Quick little thing that I've added on to the end of that, just because I've seen it quickly on IGN, is the fact that Guillermo del Toro, the dude who was part of the Silent Hills and Kojima thing coming together, it's never going to work on a video game again, which is an interesting topic as well because. Well, whatever happened over there at Konami, we don't know. But
but that's really weird because he said before,
we ain't gonna find out what happened, are we?
Well, no, we're not. But
it's just gonna stay hush hush.
Yeah, no, but it's weird because he said that he wanted to make another game with Hideo Kojima. He said that he was open to working with him again because he loves working with him, and like he said that like pretty much after all the malarkey with Konami happened. So like I was thinking that they could do some sort of a partnership and then just have a separate studio for themselves, like make a studio, because there's nothing stopping them from doing that. But obviously Kojima isn't open to that idea, because if he's wanting to do it, then there's nothing stopping him. But then of course he needs sort of Kojima to work with him to provide that creative aspect for the actual making of the game and that sort of stuff. But it's a bit of a shame because Guillermo, how do you pronounce it? Guillermo
del Toro.
Who knows how to pronounce it?
No comprende.
This is something I actually know. It's Guillermo del Toro.
Well, I know how it's spelled, but I don't do Spanish because it's a faggot language. But he.
You've probably lived there as well.
I haven't lived in Spain actually. I've been there. I've not lived in Spain.
That's a surprise.
He's like, I know a few movies he's made. He did, what was it, Hellboy, and was it Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim.
It was those two films, and like they were all right. So I think it's a bit of a shame, but not much we can do about it.
Yeah. And obviously the whole idea that Konami and Kojima are having this massive fallout that's going on at the moment, like no one knows what's going on between. I mean, obviously they took Kojima's name off the box art of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. So something's going on with Konami. We've heard that Konami are basically going into mobile gaming now anyway. So let's be honest, Konami are probably not going to be going to make any more MGS games. I assume Kojima will probably take it, or maybe not even make another MGS game. Who knows what's going to happen with that series? I assume that Kojima will try and make it with another studio or something like that. Who knows? But as far as I know, Konami own the IP.
Though.
Well, they own the IP. Konami will own the IP. So I don't know what's going on with that. We'll obviously have to wait and see what happens at the end of MGS5. See if anything like that's going to change. And then, but yeah, that's pretty much all the news that we've got for this week.
So we have the Q&A and then the movies at the end, don't we? That's what we agreed before.
That's what we decided to do. So because obviously we don't have any viewer topics at the moment because we haven't got any feedback on this first episode. One of the things I quickly wanted to say just before we actually go into this kind of movies thing is the fact that any feedback that you have on like anything that's pretty much been going on in this first podcast episode. So for example, if the camera angles aren't right, if the lighting isn't right, if the audio isn't right, if the gameplay doesn't fit with the game,
if Callum lags too much,
if something isn't right, please let us know in the comments, because that's pretty much what we really want to fix. Obviously, we said like at the beginning of this podcast that the first episode is never going to be what you expect it to be. It's not going to be the perfect thing that you want it to be. So we want to hear what you guys think, because you're ultimately the ones who are consuming the content. So what we want to know is if what you guys think should be improved on in the second episode or in future episodes, whatever's going to happen. And we just want to know that pretty much. We just want to know what we can do to make this as best as it can be, if you can put those.
I'm thinking, right, that because of my porn career, one of the things is going to be get naked on the camera.
That would be an interesting one, but I think we'd also.
I'm not complying with that. I am not complying with that. It's not happening.
You're the sort of person who's one step ahead right now and actually is naked on the camera. And Oscar will only notice when he's editing the
Quan knows.
It'll take about 10 years to upload it to like YouTube, and I'll download it. I'm like, for fuck's sake, Callum, you sent me the wrong one. You sent me two girls, one lad. Like,
oh my god.
What's going on here?
One lad from Somerset.
Yeah. two girls, one drunk. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Where's my can of cider at?
Yeah, I was saying anyway. But yeah,
I don't really
if you have
one.
any, like Oscar was saying, if you have any questions about the actual podcast, that's fine. But also, if you have any gaming-related topics that you want us to talk about, we'll do a sort of Q&A-esque sort of thing.
Yeah.
We'll pick a few topics, talk about them for 5 or 10 minutes, and that way, if you want to get into the podcast, then you have the opportunity.
Exactly.
And what more could you want? Like, come on, like, yeah.
You obviously want to be in the GD podcast here right now.
Yeah,
so.
It's just like it's so much better.
You can have your own comment slide up to the bottom of the screen.
Exactly.
What more could you want? What more could you want? Right next to these beautiful faces that we now have. Which we've barely actually said.
I always had a beautiful face. Shut up.
That's an interesting thing. We've barely mentioned that we're actually now having face cams. This is the first time, obviously, we've ever revealed our face. So,
there's that. As a final topic, then, we did discuss this beforehand. We're going to have a film/TV series section where one of us is going to talk about a particular film or TV show that we've recently seen and give our opinion on it. So, do either of you guys have anything that springs to mind? Because I have an idea of what I want to talk about. All right, go ahead, Carl. I'll save mine for next time. So go
on. A week ago, as of day of recording. Yeah, shut up, Oscar. Quan even. My bad. It's automatic for me to say Oscar because he's just a dickhead. But About a week ago, I watched Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Oh, yeah, right.
And in all fairness, it was quite a good movie. I think it was an improvement on Ghost Protocol, which was the one before. There was more action in it. It felt like it had a bit more of a story to it. And it also followed on really well from what the last film kind of laid out for this one. Basically, Tom Cruise just does his normal job of being an action hero. It's a good film, lots of action, decent story. I've also been rewatching Gotham, which is the TV series about Jim Gordon before Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, so when his parents have just been killed. And I started rewatching that a couple of days ago. Really good. I'd suggest you watch that as well. Like, it's on Netflix, so you can just go watch it.
Yeah, Gotham. A lot of people are
It's great.
watching that.
Like,
one of my friends...
I still need to watch Daredevil, though.
Oh, Daredevil was actually going to be my one. I'll save that for next week to explain it a little bit. I'll also talk about a few films next week, because there's some good films that have come out recently. But yeah, as far as Gotham is concerned, I remember one of my friends in real life, like from school, kept going on about it when it was on. Did it release this year? I think it was like new this year, wasn't it? Was there a new series?
It was no. It was.
Was there a new season or not? Anyway, he was
no. It's
watching
only
it.
been one season at the minute, but
well,
yeah,
he was watching it, and he kept going on about how good it was, and from that point of view, I think that's something I may well do in the future, although I'm trying to watch as many movies and TV films now because I'm really uneducated in that department. I only figured that out.
I am very
are.
similar with this as well.
You're worse than
I
me.
think
Oh, God,
I'm
you're
probably the worst in this case.
You're worse than me because we were pretty much the same when I joined GD, but then when I kept hearing Robin and Callum going on about these movies and TV shows, and I thought
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, well, Breaking Bad was the first one, but then that sort of led me into trying out other things because I really enjoyed Breaking Bad.
Well, you've been recently watching House of Cards, haven't you?
House of Cards, yeah.
Ghosts,
House of Cards,
that's one of the things that I've been hearing in the chat. So.
It was the best thing the other week. Anybody who's watched House of Cards, right? Towards the end of season 2, it's Kevin Spacey and his wife, and the character that Kevin Spacey plays, and his wife.
Just Kevin Spacey's being himself in House of Cards.
Yeah. And,
yeah, casual. I'm in my own
It's like this really stressful point in the series, right? And he goes into their kitchen and he's speaking to his wife. His wife cuts her hands on some glass, right? A wine glass or something, and she calls their bodyguard. They have a bodyguard because at this point he's the vice president, and the bodyguard goes, and the bodyguard's called Edward Meacham, right? Or as we like to now refer to him, just Edward. And Edward cleans up her cut. Then Kevin Spacey comes in, and completely out of the blue, like they sort of hinted about it a few episodes before, but I just sort of brushed it off, thinking that's not going to happen. Out of the blue, they just start kissing each other, and Edward leans over and starts kissing Kevin Spacey, and it's the funniest thing ever because keeping in mind, I was watching this, and they end up having a threesome, and I was watching this with my parents. And I just couldn't stop laughing. They were taking it dead seriously. They were just like trying to be mature about it. I just couldn't care less about being mature at that point. I was just like absolutely.
And then there's Quan kind of like trying to desperately find a pillow. Like, oh shit, I can't find one. Shit. Oh no.
Yeah, that was just.
That was to hide something else besides his laughing face. But okay.
Well, that has been the highlight of season 2 by far. But right now we're on season.
What, the threesome?
Yeah,
threesome. Wow, that's your highlight. There you go. That's
it's not a very good TV series, then, is it?
Absolutely incredible. So it's not just that, but yeah. So that's my opinion on House of Cards on that episode. So
Oscar, what have you been watching?
Go on, Oscar.
Well, actually, one of the things that I was when I was on holiday a couple of weeks back, I went to a place that was near Valencia in Spain, and there was pretty much this. We had loads of TVs in the villa that we were staying at, and they were all kind of wired to UK TV channels, which was kind of good for us because obviously that means we could still at least watch something that was in English. But we were watching. Anyone in the UK will know the channel Film 4, which is pretty much like Channel 4's version of where they show loads of films all the time. And one of the films actually was that came up, and my dad put it on, was the original Iron Man film.
Yes!
Which came out in, I think, 2008, was it?
2008.
Yeah, 2008. And I really enjoyed it, which is an interesting one, because I've never really watched many superhero films.
Oscar, we can be proper friends now.
So, yeah, that was kind of the first one I've ever watched. That's the first Iron Man film I've ever watched. And, yeah, it was really good. Again, there's a few little plot holes in it. I think definitely.
Yes, there is.
Definitely the point when
it's a superhero film.
Yeah,
what do you
guess
expect?
that's true. Again, I thought it's a bit. The ending was a little bit weird. Although then again, there are sequels, so I assume it might kind of work on from there. Although I've heard Iron Man 2 is not as good as the original one, but
definitely not.
But yeah, pretty much I really enjoyed it. It's kind of the first superhero film I've really ever watched. I think I have watched a Captain America film at some point, but
How have you not seen the Avengers, like the original
Like
Avengers?
the first superhero film you've ever watched.
No, that's not technically true, actually.
Did you not watch the Dark Knight Rises?
No, I haven't watched any of the Dark Knight. I've not watched any of the Batman films.
I watched Batman Begins last night. Forgot to mention that.
Really?
Yeah.
I watched Dark Knight Rises the other day.
Yeah, Batman Begins, great film. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I have watched the Spider-Man films though, all 3 of the Spider-Man, the original ones.
Oh God.
Spider-Man films.
Oh God.
Childhood.
Let's not get into this discussion.
Were.
Let's get away from this discussion because you mentioned Spider-Man and you mentioned emo Spider-Man and just like no.
Callum doesn't have like this. He doesn't seem to love Spider-Man, which is interesting.
Well, he
He's
likes
a
superheroes
dickhead.
generally. Like Callum's like the superhero faggot of the group, and then
He is,
Robin's
he
like
is.
the anti-superhero faggot of the
anti-superhero
group,
group,
and then
Go
me and
fuck
Oscar are
yourself.
just like, nah.
Yeah, we're okay. Like I'll watch them. I'll watch them if they're on. Like if there's an opportunity to watch something like that, then I'll watch it. But usually if I had to pick like if I'm gonna watch a film, it would probably be something like a comedy film or something like. For example, the In Between this movie or something.
It's like I went to a midnight release of Age of Ultron back in May or March or whenever it was. Like that was the best decision I ever made because like there were a load of other nerds there who liked it.
That is actually something I think is sort of dying out with gaming, like midnight releases of decent games. Like that's
because digital, innit?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting a bit down with all the like digital downloads. So like, sort of growing and growing, and then fewer and fewer people go into these midnight releases, and it's a bit disappointing. But I'm saying that, and I've pre-ordered Until Dawn on Amazon, so I'm not going to go to one. But I haven't even really been to a proper one, but. Like the only one I guess I could compare it to, and this is going to sound so bad. This is when I was a casual gamer, so don't judge.
Okay.
Was Wii Sports Resort with the Motion Plus controller.
I'm laughing and crying inside.
That is
it wasn't the midnight release. It was like because the game didn't do a midnight release for it. It was.
It's Wii.
Yeah, it was the opening time of game. Like I was like hyped to play that game, so I wanted to go to it. So we went in 6 in the morning to buy it, and yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. Secrets coming out. Anyway, I think that's pretty much the end of the podcast.
That's pretty much the end of the podcast, and it definitely is the end for me because my camera has just died.
Oh wow.
I don't know when it happened because I just suddenly seen that he's gone back to 0 minutes now. But from what I can see, it says 28 minutes. So from whatever we're at, 28 minutes was when my camera died, unfortunately. And it's basically because I didn't have storage on my phone. But yeah, we're gonna pretty much end it here. I'm gonna have like a black space right where my face should be now, but oh well. But yeah, pretty much that's the end of the podcast. Let us know what you thought of it. Let us know if you want to see more of it. Obviously, we're gonna hopefully be able to do this every single week from now on. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, send us some questions. Give us some viewer topics that you want to have us discuss at the end. Give us what you've been playing this week. What kind of news you want to discuss. Anything that you really want to put into the podcast and want to suggest kind of areas that we want to improve on anything, just get that over and put it in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the podcast. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And we hope you'll have a fantastic day.
And we hope you enjoyed our beautiful mugshots.
Oh yeah.
Oh, mugshots. Mugshots of days. Or should we close how we opened with the sunglasses? It's just like 3, 2, 1, ha! Outro.
Cum shot.